Hello, everyone that's tuned in so far. I hope you're having a pleasant evening today. We have pleasant weather. Spring is in full swing, and seeds are sprouting, and it's time to get that garden going. All right, gonna get started in just a couple of more seconds. Just getting my notes together. And if you see me looking away from the screen, I have my laptop up. I typed up a few notes, just to kind of keep me on topic and kind of structure everything. And feel free to put any questions you may have in the comments, and I'll do my best to answer them as I go. All right, it is April the 16th. I'm confident to say that I believe we've passed the point of the last frost of the season. So, as long as everything goes according to plan, I don't believe that we're gonna have any crazy below freezing weather from this point going forward. The temperature is just gonna continue to be warm. So I believe it's safe to go ahead and direct sow a lot of your veggies without fear of a last minute frost. Um, Today I just want to push the importance of community and school gardening. Those are two different things, but at the same time they go hand in hand. Community gardening is in its core about being neighborly. Uh, I know back in the day, a long time ago, we knew who our neighbors were. We shared with each other. We shared seeds. We shared food. My parents told me that they shared milk and shared eggs. So it's all about rebuilding that community structure and collaborating towards one goal. I say it all the time. If we all grow something and trade with each other, we can eat for free. And if everyone does a little, no one has to do a lot. Currently, I'm the coordinator for the Esther Gallo Community Garden on Sherrow Street, and it's a collaborative effort between local elementary schools, a local senior center, volunteers throughout the community, and we have a little free library. We have approximately 34 raised beds, and we're all about teaching the community how to grow their own food, do it for themselves. It's one thing to give a man a fish. It's another thing to teach a man to fish. So by empowering the community with the ability to grow their own produce, it's actually empowering us. By each person knowing how to feed themselves, we're able to feed each other and increase the availability of quality food. And I stress the word quality. A lot of the things that we're finding in the stores nowadays, they're grown. They're grown with the intentions of mass production and selling it for a profit. They're not putting that love and care into the soil anymore. So a lot of the big box stores, the produce doesn't have for one, the taste, but two, the nutritional value. I forget who did the study. I want to say it was a government agency, but I can't remember the exact agency that did the test, but they did an experiment and they found that produce in 2000. I want to say they did it in 2020. It doesn't have the same nutritional value that produce had in the 1920s, 1930s, 1950s. A lot of the quote unquote healthy food doesn't have that same healthy dose of vitamins and minerals, and the reason being, the food is being mass produced with the intent to sell it. It's not being produced, with the intent of quantity over quality. So they're growing a lot of food and neglecting the nutrition side of it. So we need to get back to growing our own food and looking out for each other. Back to community gardening. So there are many benefits to community gardening. It beautifies the city. A lot of these vacant lots that weeds are growing everywhere. There's trash everywhere. We can convert those to community gardens. It looks a lot better, and we're putting the land to use. Every neighborhood in the city has a empty lot that we're not doing anything with, and a lot of times the city owns it. So what if the city allowed people from the neighborhood to adopt that lot, grow some things, that saves money, from having to mow it and clean it up all the time, and it's increasing availability of food in the neighborhood. There'll be less food deserts if we have more community gardens, throughout the city. That's helping with food security. It's encouraging healthy living. You're saving money, by having your own, place to go to pick quality produce. It builds community. It fosters intergenerational, relationships. At the Esther Gallo Community Garden, the seniors come over and they help out with, talking to the students and, teaching them, life lessons, life skills, health skills and, gardening skills. So we're able to connect the seniors with the, the neighborhood, residents with the students. So it's, different age brackets coming together, for one goal. So, and that's a beautiful thing. And it ties back to the school gardening. When students get involved, it test scores, rise. It helps with science. It helps with probability. Give me 1 second. Let me scroll down just a little bit. It teaches students, the value of, ownership, responsibility. It teaches them to work in groups, and it shows them where real food comes from. Very rarely, are students able to see the full process of, planting the for example, the radish seed, seeing it sprout, seeing it grow, and then being able to harvest and taste it. So, we're exposing them to fresh, raw, organic, untampered with produce. And so far I've helped with J.S. Clark. I've helped with Neville Junior High School, a few daycares, and the students love it. They love smelling fresh mint. They love taste testing these radishes, these carrots, different greens like kale, lettuce, arugula. And students love it, and it helps the school as a whole by raising the test scores, helping with food availability. We can grow a salad garden, and that same salad produce can be used in the cafeteria to feed the administration, to feed the students. So there's many benefits, and I want to do my part to push community gardening, school gardening, because it really helps change the world. Awesome, definitely love it. Thank you, Miss Browhouse. Now, it doesn't take much to get a community garden started. You need a location, and a lot of times, there's land that's just there. No one's doing anything with, and maybe the person that owns it wouldn't mind if there was a garden planted there. So you really just have to find the location and find willing souls. If 5 to 10 people collaborated in the effort, you can grow a lot of produce in a small amount of space. It doesn't take much space to grow food, and you just need your soil, your seeds, and a watering source, and get started. The hardest step is to take that first step. Once you get going, a lot of things fall into place. Now, if you're in the the Northeast Louisiana region, I'm available for consultations on how to start and maintain a community garden, and depending on the time, I may even be able to come out and help with the implementation. So I would love to see more community gardens in my area, as well as all over the world. We need more local food. A lot of times, the produce is grown on the other side of the United States. It's harvested. It's put on a truck. It has to travel, hundreds of, thousands of miles. And by the time it gets to, your kitchen counter, it's old. You don't know, how long, it was sit in the store before you bought it. When you're growing it yourself, you're picking it at peak ripeness, and it's fresh. If you needed it on Tuesday, you can pick it on Tuesday, and it's ready to go. You don't have to worry about eating a 2-week-old, tomato. And it is true that homegrown food tastes a lot better, and it's more nutritious. I want to go. Let me scroll back up on my notes, and I want to go back to the community gardening. Let's say, all right, so if you're not in the Northeast Louisiana area and you want to start a community garden, go to your city council and figure out if there's any, city-owned land, in your area that the city wouldn't mind collaborating, with to create more positive projects. That's one less thing that city officials have to mow, one less piece of land that they have to worry about cleaning up. Because once you get it dished up, you build a couple of beds. From there, you just have to keep it maintained. The first step is taking a step, and prevention and maintenance. Keeping it clean, keeping it planted out, and practicing plant rotation, succession planting. Like, for example, plant a couple of rows of greens at the beginning of the month, waiting a few weeks, planting a few more rows, waiting a few weeks, planting a few more rows. That way, as you need things, they become available. Now, a community garden can check off a lot of different spots. Let's say you want to combat hunger, or if you want to find a way to donate towards food pantries or soup kitchens. A community garden can provide the fresh food for projects like that. So you can get tapped in with different charities, different soup kitchens, churches. If a church wanted to use some of the land on their campus to grow food to feed the congregation, or just feed the city, that's something to consider. And you can get plugged in with local schools to bring the kids over, show them, how to get their hands dirty, how to plant certain things, and they're learning. They're getting volunteer hours. It can bring the classroom, outside. It could be a classroom, without walls, if you will. Does anyone have any questions? Feel free to put them in the chat. Thank you for logging on, Miss Belton, Miss Browhow, Morel, Sherman. I really appreciate you guys logging in today. And it's gonna be a awesome season. I see a lot of positive things happening at the Esther Gallo Community Garden. I see a lot of positive things happening this year at the different schools that I sponsor, like J.S. Clark, Neville Junior High School. I'm in talks with Carroll High School on helping with their school garden. There's a few other elementary schools that I'm visiting, and I really want to put as many school gardens in my city as possible, because if we reach the kids young, we can inspire them to live healthier by being exposed to some of these nutritional foods, some of these superfoods, some of these herbs. And research does show that schools that have an extensive school garden, test higher on standardized tests. So it's something to think about, and I would love to be a resource. So anyone who's interested in learning more about community gardens, or installing a school garden in your area, feel free to contact me, and I'll help any way that I can with information. We can share notes. I really just want to do my part, because again, if we all do a little, no one has to do a lot. All right, so if I want to start a garden, doesn't matter about the dirt or ground, I'm definitely interested in starting one. I have a future child care center. All right, so Miss Browhow, I try to just take down a lot of the barriers of entry. Yes and no. Now, I try to avoid unnecessary chemicals. So let's say if you're building a raised bed and you're filling it up with soil, try to avoid any of the dirt that they've added chemical fertilizers to. Because I look at chemical fertilizers the same way I look at multivitamins. The body is designed to absorb nutrients from plant-based sources, from whole foods. When we take chemical multivitamins, our body doesn't absorb it as readily, because our body wasn't designed to break down chemicals. And plants are the same way. If you use a plant-based fertilizer or plant-based amendments, the soil will be a lot healthier and the plants can uptake the nutrients. So the soil does matter, but at the same time, use what you have. And there's nothing better than good old-fashioned earth. So you can use a just a gardening tool, a hoe, or a small cultivator or a tiller, just to dish up your backyard or the land at the child care center. You can always add different things. Let's say if you get the soil tested and you need more nitrogen, you can add plant-based nitrogen sources like kelp. If you want to use blood meal, which is a byproduct from the animal industry, it adds nitrogen back into the soil, and plants need nitrogen to grow new leaves. So you can add things to it. But if you want to just be extra on top of it, get your soil tested. It'll tell you what's in in your personal soil where you are. What if there's any chemicals that's in it that you need to worry about, or if it doesn't have enough nutrients of this, or it doesn't have enough nitrogen, it doesn't have enough phosphorus, it doesn't have enough calcium, you'll know exactly what you're lacking so you can add to it. Now, the best advice I can give you is to just get started. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Learn as you grow. So I say just break up the ground and get going. It's actually cheaper to just break up the ground as opposed to buying a lot of soil to haul in to fill up a box. As long as you have the right tools, you can just break up the ground and get started. All right, thank you. And do we have any other questions on how to get started, or do you have any questions about your at-home garden? We're about 2 weeks from May. I think we're reaching the temperature that's great to start your watermelons and your cantaloupes and your different melons. On the days to maturity scale, those type of things like melons, cantaloupes, pumpkins, they take about 90 to 100 days to grow. So if you start them now, so we're in April, you'll more than likely have a harvest around July. So if you want some 4th of July watermelons, go ahead and start them now. So and you should have some by then, depending on the variety you grow. Of course, the smaller personal what's the, I want to say it's sugar babies. Yeah, the sugar baby watermelon. They're a smaller variety. They don't take as long. They can be ready in sometimes 70 to 80 days. Now your large, old school, Jubilee, Charleston Gray, like old fashioned watermelons, they take a lot longer. Those are 90 to 100, 110 days, but they're worth it. They're huge. Nothing better than a cold watermelon on a hot summer day. So also you can start your cucumbers now. And the good thing about growing your own food, you plant it once, it's gonna continue to grow. So you plant your cucumbers, you're gonna be picking cucumbers all season. You plant your peppers, you're gonna be eating peppers all season. When you go to the store, you're buying peppers that you're gonna have to buy again. Why not just plant a pepper plant and then from there, just keep picking? So it's really an investment when you think about it. Growing your own food, having a home, home-based garden, it's gonna multiply itself. You're planting one seed and you're gonna get tons of produce from that one seed, and those produce items are gonna have seeds in them. Save those seeds, rinse, repeat, grow again next year. So I've been growing okra from the same seeds. I want to say this is my 3rd year. I grew some okra on my uncle's farm. I saved the seeds from that. The following year, I planted those, grew some okra again. Before the end of the season, I saved a couple of okra fingers. And just each year, I keep saving my own okra. So I rarely have to buy okra seeds, unless I want to try a different variety. Like a couple of years ago, I wanted to try red okra. I want to say red Jing okra, and so I rarely have to buy some seeds because you can save your own seeds. And I heard a guy on social media say growing your own food is like growing your own money. Well, that's true because you're saving so much money that it is like growing your own money. I was just trying something. Let's get growing. it's my intentions to have an event at the Esther Gallo Community Garden later this month. If not later this month, we're gonna shoot for the beginning of May, and we're gonna get things back in full swing there. We want to grow a lot more stuff and want to get a lot more people involved. We want to get more students out there. We want to reach more seniors. We want to help feed more people. If anyone from my area is logged onto this live that's in touch with any of the food kitchens, we really want to be connected with entities like that, so we know where to take the produce that we donate, because we're all about giving. We're all about teaching people how to grow it themselves, and to provide quality produce to people who wouldn't see those type of foods otherwise. Like, there's only certain things you're gonna find on the produce aisle in your big box store. I've yet to find amaranth greens in Walmart or just any other produce store. So, and amaranth greens are some of the healthiest greens that you can eat, but I know some people have never heard of them. So there's so many different food items that you can just grow yourself. See, I rarely see red Russian kale in the store. I see a lot of curly kale, but I don't see much red Russian kale in the store. And this is the amaranth greens I was talking about. And the good thing about amaranth, the greens are super healthy, but the seeds, a half a cup serving of the seeds will give you over 60, 70, 80% of your daily's worth of iron. And I know a lot of people who are iron deficient, and your body can uptake iron more readily from a plant-based source. Quick side note, if you are iron deficient and you're taking an iron supplement, your body can absorb iron easier if you pair it with vitamin C. So take vitamin C as you're taking your iron, and your body will absorb it easier. Make sure you share that with anyone who are iron deficient. Quick commercial break. The Taynylei Plantery online seed store is open. If you need any organic seeds for your garden, feel free to go to TaynyleiPlantery.com. Go to menu, click on shop, and you'll be able to see the many seeds that we offer in the collection. Also, the Taynylei Plantery nursery will be open in May. We'll be at local pop-up shops, local farmers markets, and just different vending spots. We want to get quality seeds, quality starter plants, and quality produce out there. So, and when you support our store, you're helping fund community gardens. You're helping fund school gardens, because when we show up to these different schools, we want to bring as much as we can to take the the barrier of entry out. We want to, when we leave, we want these schools to have a functioning garden. Miss Brahau, I'm gonna put the link in the comment section. Give me 1 second. Yes, ma'am, Miss Daniels. Now, of course, I always tell people do their own research. I love to read. I'm into holistic health, so I do a lot of research. But anytime I say anything, I always push. I want you to fact check what I say. Always do your own research. But yes, iron can be uptaken more readily when you pair it with vitamin C. And I'm putting it in the comments, Miss Brahau. All right, and that's the link, and it's on TaynyleiPlantery.com and slash store. That's the link. That's where we offer the organic seeds, and then sometime next month, the nursery will be open, and we'll have the organic starter plants like spaghetti squash, crookneck squash, cantaloupes, um, Armenian cucumbers, poisette cucumbers, tomatoes, watermelon, peppers. I'm gonna forget something, but yeah, we're ornamental plants like wandering Jews, ivies, cacti, alligator plants. We're gonna have an assortment of different things in the nursery, produce items as well as ornamental plants. And I do recommend that you put ornamental plants in your home, in your office. If you're a business owner, it really does help purify the air. It adds more oxygen. You breathe better, and it looks good. You know, it's always nice to have, you know, some greenery, you know, around. I'm just reading the comments. Can you pin? And Miss Brahau, I'm reading your comment. Can you pin that name in the comments, please? Remind me what name you were talking about, because I think I kind of went on a tangent for a minute. I just want to make sure I put the information that you're asking for in. Just remind me what I was talking about when you said that particular comment, please. And again, thank you to everyone who's logged on. And I think I gotten off everything that I wanted to share. So now I'm just answering questions. Any questions you may have, any concerns, advice. If you want to be, you know, pointing in the right direction, just I'm available to answer any questions at this point. Yes, ma'am. TaynyleiPlantery.com. And again, Taynylei Plantery, I named it after my beautiful daughters, Taylor, Tanaya, and Talia. So Taynylei. Can I get an herb garden started? Yes, Miss Belton. And herbs are the easiest things to grow. Honestly, herbs practically grow themselves. And the majority of them are perennials, and that just means that they come back every year. So in the winter, when the frost comes, they die back. And then in the spring, when it warms up, they come back with a vengeance. So you really have to just plant them once. Minus basil. Well, lavender is like it's a tender perennial. It dies easier, but most of the time it comes back in our area, because Northeast Louisiana is pretty tropical in a way. We rarely have crazy winters, except this past winter, and it was like 10 degrees. For the first time, my prickly pear cactus died. I am so happy that I took some cuttings, because of the 4 pots that I had, 2 of them, they gave up the ghost. So, but I was able to replace them with some cuttings that I took. And always, if your plant can be cloned, I always take cuttings. So during the winter time, I try to splice as many of my herbs as possible, and, you know, baby them throughout the winter, just in case they die and don't come back. My oregano has gone wild. I love it. Yeah, oregano, mint, thyme. You know, these herbs, they spread like wildflower. So if possible, either grow them by themselves or in a pot, because if mint shares a bed with other items, it's gonna take over. Mint spreads like wildflower. Can you grow greens in a bucket? You sure can. And let me see if I can find a picture. As a matter of fact, I can do you one better, Miss Daniels. I wrote up something on apartment gardening. When I first learned how to garden, I lived in an apartment and I had to do all pots. But believe it or not, I was able to grow a lot of stuff in pots. Tomatoes, cucumbers. I grew corn in a pot. I grew kale, lettuce, chard. I feel like I'm squash, sunflowers. So you can grow just about anything in a pot. You just got to have the right size pot because some plants need more space than others. I'm going to pin this in the comments, and it just shows different things that I grew in a pot, and it just tells you what size pots certain things need. There we go. Container gardening. That's also on TaynyleiPlantery.com. And you really can recycle. So you can use a old mop bucket. Just make sure you clean it out good and poke a hole in the bottom. The first time I grew corn, I think it was in I reused cat litter bucket thingy. Don't worry, I cleaned it out thoroughly. But you really just need to drill some holes in the bottom and fill it up with dirt. Hey, recycle, save your money. Use what you have. Just getting caught up in the comments. But hey, stay tuned. If you're not already, like our Facebook page, Taynylei Plantery. Share this video, share our content with family and friends. I really want to reach as many people as I can, give out, quality information because, a lot of people want to garden. A lot of people want to grow their own food, but they don't know where to start. They don't know what they need. I want to give all the information needed to get started. And again, the more gardeners that I can inspire, again, if we all grow something, trade with each other, we can eat for free. So I want to create a network of like-minded individuals who are a world of more producers. How often do you send out text messages, weekly, bi-weekly? I strive to send out text messages bi-weekly, but feel free to send us a text on the text line, and the text line just text easy gardening to 318. I'm sorry, I don't have the text number memorized. Let me look at it again. 318-232-8788. You can text easy gardening to 318-232-8788. And we send out text messages to, alert you on our different community projects, volunteer opportunities. When we have seed giveaways, we send out just basic gardening information. Hey, now it's time to plant this, or there's this weather warning out. This is how you protect this plant from a frost, or this is what you do during a drought. So we send out a lot of basic information on the text list, but it's an easy way to reach us if you have any questions, but you don't want to log on to Facebook. You just want to shoot a quick, hey, I'm growing this and this happened, or this pest started giving me trouble. How do I get rid of it? It's an easy way for you to stay in contact with us to troubleshoot a lot of things. Wow, thank you. Just looked on your page. We'll be ordering this week. Thank you so much, Miss Daniels. And thank you for the question, Miss Belton. And you can reach us on the text list. You can reach us on TaynyleiPlantery.com. You can email us. We're we're pretty accessible. All right. Does anyone have any last minute questions for me? I think I got out all the information I wanted to get out this evening. I really just wanted to push community gardening and school gardening, and again, remind everyone, grow your own food. It saves you money. It improves your health. It gives you a reason to go outside. And thank you to everyone that logged on. It really means a lot to me. Let's get growing. You guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Grow your own food. Thank you, Miss Jude.